Peace and blessings, family. This is your boy Gerald. It is Wednesday, the 29th of November, 2017. How is everybody doing? Yes, I've been very active this week. Surprisingly so. But I would be remiss not to put this video out because I saw not only synchronicity in what's going on in our environment, but I also saw an opportunity to throw out a disclaimer for those who may not or may have some challenges emotionally. That's right. You say, well, why? Okay, Jerry, you've been running your mouth all week. Now, what you got to say today? Okay. All right. For those that are in the U.S., for those who are starting their day, for those who got one of these tools, did you see it? Did you see that message that was splashed on top of your laptop or your cell phone, your laptop? I'm surprised they hadn't even mentioned it yet, but as you're starting your day, you're going to hear it on the radio if you're listening to the radio. The 29th of November, approximately, I would say 7:30 this morning, there was an update that went across that NBC's longtime anchor, Matt Lawler, was fired for inappropriate behavior. Did you hear me? NBC Today Show host Matt Lawler was fired for inappropriate behavior. Now, do you guys see a pattern going on? Do you see a commonality? And I'm saying this very loosely because I tried to convey to the intended heart, intended mind, that family, we are in the season of the ant and the grasshopper. While the grasshopper is playing around through the seasons, the ant is vigilant and staying course. And while this is going on, that ant is fortifying what it is needed to survive. Putting in them long hours, putting in that time, reflecting on what is needed individually. And I'm using that storyline as metaphors for you. So, Joe, what's that got to do with Matt Lawler from the NBC Today Show getting fired for inappropriate behaviors? You know, now this is the season that the veil has come open. But you know what? That's what they want you to think. Believe that narrative. Oh, yes, I'm going to ruffle some feathers this morning because this is nothing more than a tactic that opportunists use. Did you hear what I said? This is nothing but a tactic used that opportunists use. First of all, there's nothing wrong with seizing opportunity. What the problem is when it is not genuine, when there is underlining agendas going on, things done in the shadows. So now we're talking about integrity of self. See, if you don't know who you are, you can't give yourself what you rightfully need. Therefore, you cannot put yourself where you rightfully belong. But I'm gonna go a little deeper. You might need you might need to put on a vest so you don't drown. For where I got and what I want to say is very simple. We can't just roll past like, oh, okay, we're just gonna drop this in your lap and business as usual. But surprisingly, what you hear in the background, you hear that chatter. I've got it on uh, the Today Show right now, and guess what? They're acting like it's a new day, just no different than before. And how ironic, how coincidental that the networks now are starting to shift. They're trying to pretty much get rid of the dead weight or the liabilities. So I gotta be realistic on this. Now, from a financial standpoint, I'm pretty sure Matt Lawler's salary was pretty nice. So from an economic standpoint, that's saving somebody some money. But you can't just roll past this event and act like you didn't know. So here's my point, family. Because you know your hopes, your dreams. I don't want to be rude. I'm going to turn this down. Your aspirations, the things that really matter. And keep in mind your future self, who you are going to ultimately manifest into, is solely depending that you make sound decisions that are unbiased. Now more than ever, family, it is about being authentic. So let's shift gears. With all this shifting around, you can't tell me there wasn't no dialogue. You can't tell me that only conversations took place around the proverbial water coolers. You can't tell me that things that were occurring, there was no discussion. So we can stop and put a period right there and say, well, why did it take so long? What were they afraid of? And let's not put the victim card out there too, because I see it a little deeper and I see it from a different perspective on this. Who does this benefit most? Because an opportunist does not need your help to expose themselves. But what is required is you have the courage to accept, acknowledge what is being placed before you. That doesn't mean you got to accept it, but you do have to acknowledge what is being presented. That's where that critical thinking comes into play. That's where that self-worth comes into play. That's where that emotional inventory is being placed before you to say, hey, look here, I need to make sure that my interest is being protected. Well, let me ask you this. In 2017, you blink twice, you're going to be in 2018. And when you get comfortable in 2018, a third of that year is going to be gone. But let's not lean too forward in that part, because I got something to say about that as the year comes to a close. Right off the bat, with all these allegations, all these oustings, because that's nothing more than what it is. They're ousting. I got to look at it impartially and say, well, look, was the choice made because of what they know or what they did? Now let's put that to the side. Because with Matt Lauer, I'm pretty sure he got a nice little severance package and Godspeed. But what they can't take from him is all he knows, all he's seen, all he has internalized. You said, well, what do you mean, Joe? What do you understand? Where are you going? Okay. From a literal sense, right off the bat, if we're playing chess, I don't care if you're playing checkers, it's about offense and defense and counters. So, why all of a sudden they make the announcement for this action? Was it because of the fact that, okay, now they got the entity in regards to, we'll say, NBC, in a position or like proverbially over a barrel, and now they see you as a liability, right? Now, who does that benefit? I don't want to be rude. Give me 1 second, okay? Because my call, you know I got my call. That's right. Be right back. All right, all right, all right, all right. Okay. So let's go back. Why now? You've seen that across the social landscape, right? And it has affected the top 5%, the top 5%. But did you notice one thing that was very apparent? They're all men. And no, this is not a opportunity to bash. This is my perspective, an opinion. I don't expect you to agree. I'm just from my viewpoint. And you may have a different perspective. But isn't it kind of ironic? All these people, not only are they men, but you're gonna tell me in this big illustrious planet, 7.3 billion people, no women, No women. You're going to sit up here and paint the picture that, oh, we got to wave that equality flag, and I'm going to use the victim card too. And you're going to sit up here and convey to the masses that there is no women that have not done not one thing. You can't do that because you're talking about the human dynamic. But yet, there's been nothing but mum's the word, very tight-lipped. Well, you can't fix something that's broken unless you address what is broken. Why hasn't that occurred yet? From those people, just look at it from a congressional position. You're going to tell me there's no female politicians that have not done anything? Some late night rubbing of the elbows and power dinners, and how about those opportunistic pages? Human nature is human nature. I'm not saying that as a means to condone, but you're not going to tell me these female politicians did not see somebody that had a twinkle in their eye and some thoughts crossed their mind and things did not occur. How about this? What about those people that are repping the LGBTQ? Because you notice every time that one person falls down, one person rises. And guess what? They're repping that flag too. And it's no secret that your governmental structuring is being revamped from the lowest level. Yeah, your most impactful vote is for your community. So your city council, your city council. That's how it's most impacted because they represent you. But one thing that is very evident is this: those who are abused and go without acknowledging said abuse, guess what? They end up becoming the abuser. That's why right now in the social climate right now, family, think about it. For those who will be honest, also acknowledge that from a community standpoint, socially, our communities are at risk. From a financial standpoint, from an environmental standpoint. And who's to pray? Your babies. Yeah, you know, the ones that you send out into the world. But what I had a synchronistic moment coming home, and I realized that, as you always hear the cliche, love is all you need. Well, love is a representation of God's mercy on you. If he didn't love you, you wouldn't exist. Now let's counter that. You have those people that don't want you to exist because they don't want you to be at peace. And as long as you are at peace, as long as you're not at peace, you can't make sound decisions for you and those that matter. So it made me wonder, as I was driving home last night from work, and like a lot of you, that are behind that steering wheel going to and fro, you start to allow your mind to do what it's supposed to do. And as I'm driving home, I know God put this on my spirit. It may have been an angel. He said, you know, racism, separatism, and those who are opportunistic would not exist if they saw their worth. And I was like, wow. But then I started to tap into that, and I was like, well, you know what? We wouldn't have racism if fear was not condoned. But then I realized something. You got to have separatism to have a fruitful economic base. Do you understand what I'm saying? Think about it. There's so much going on right now that they're trying to convince you. You got to bear with me, family. My scanner just went off, but that's how the devil do. But think about it. Just you wouldn't have bigotry if fear did not exist or was condoned. And then it hit me even more. I was like, you know, you got to plant those seeds while they're young so that they can manifest that and grow that to have influence in the future. So in other words, you wouldn't have that misogynist person if that seed was not planted at a young, impressionable age. You wouldn't have that abuser if the action did not occur when they were vulnerable. If you don't understand who you are, how are you going to understand what is needed as well, what you have to do to where you're going? You might as well be driving your car with blinders on, hoping mishap is not in front of you. But see, I want you to see that. So let's talk about your friendships. I keep trying to tell y'all, the people that come into your life are a direct reflection of your state of mind. You realize how many people have more loyalty to their pain than their discovery of who they are. I don't want to talk about love. I don't want to have nothing to do with love. It's like looking at a horror movie and the priest comes out with some holy water and it's, that's truth. Why are you putting out all this energy? Who is your audience? Why are you putting so much focus in your calamity? You know why? Because from a social standpoint, we are asleep at the wheel at times. We are lackadaisical at times. So guess what? They think they can just roll that right in front of you and you're going to catch it and keep it moving and not realize what you didn't put in your hands. They're going to just say, well, you know, you don't talk about it. You must accept it. Or worse, they'll keep you around long enough for you to do their bidding. And as it is done, they turn back to who they are, and your shelf life has been pulled. Who am I talking to? If you woke up this morning with a chip on your shoulder and not, if anything, if you're feeling a little pissed off, that's your spirit saying, listen here. That's that little boy and that little girl inside you saying, listen, I can't afford another bruise. Listen, I can't take another disappointment. Listen, what will it take before you open your eyes? Or listen, why aren't you loving me? You know, they say, when it comes to the people that you genuinely love, give them their flowers while they're alive, because it matters not when they're gone. But actually, it does matter, because then if you're not prepared, but the reality is you end up becoming the representation of what they were. You got to remember something. Family, friends, there was somebody that made a way for you. There was somebody that had your best interest, and you will not understand that fully until you decide to understand you. You realize how many people have that epiphany, and they realize that they had one viewpoint, and that viewpoint ultimately robbed them from time. Think about it. Socially, there is an agenda to dumb down the populace. This ain't on no conspiracy, family. I'm trying to hit you right in your chest, and I'll prove it. How well you know your family history. How well do you know your medical history? But if you can't understand who you are, how you gonna understand the tree? So what I'm trying to get you to understand is, I should have put a disclaimer out, but I'm reaching the intended heart and mind. You got to cut that bullshit out your life. Did you hear me? Yeah, I'm going for your throat so I can get to your heart. As long as you choose to take a denial position, you are robbing your life. Don't even think about what you got in your pocket. Don't even take into consideration where you lay your head. It matters not until you decide to know you. So let's go around the corner and bring it back home. So now at 9:02, they're discussing from a entity that Matt Lawler was fired. Don't you think it's kind of ironic that what's getting ready to happen? We're in the middle of the holiday seasons. So guess what? Guess what? Kind of takes the air out of the balloon, don't you think? So now, and of course, I got Megyn Kelly up there. She's going to speak on it, which kind of ironic because she came from Fox News and she had the same situation over there, and now she's But look, that's no here no there because we can look at it from an individual level. We can don't worry about all that. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about the people that have access to your life right now. If they don't represent you, it's because they don't represent themselves. So you cannot expect for them to have the same value and viewpoint that you hold dear. You can't expect change to occur when you're too busy allowing your distractions to keep you at bay. Hold that thought. So they finally are addressing it. And then what do? Now they're going to run a story or a missing toddler. Why all this calamity right now for holidays? Why? Because they want to keep you distracted, family. They got to have a story. Got to have something so that we can rally around so you don't focus on what you need to get done. But guess what? You stay the course. You stay true to you. It takes a lifetime to learn the value of your story. You can't put that weight on people that have come along the way because people come to your life for two reasons. They're either a blessing or they're your lesson. And you can choose to stick it out and endure. And when they don't change, it's because you won't change the way you see the world. So I think it's kind of ironic because now, I mean, 2017 has been the year of a lot of pain. I mean, this emotionally has all the makings for PTSD, even though if you came from a fragmented, dysfunctional family, guess what? You already have PTSD. Because PTSD is nothing but a balloon term for trauma. But let your trauma be your empowerment. Because what's on the other side of your trauma is your strength, is you. And you may also realize the people that said, I'm going to be there forever. I got your back. I'm a phone call away. I'm your ride or die. Where are they at? Where are they? What about those relationships that were like this? Where are they? And that can be very disheartening to folks because you're starting to see between or you're starting to see clarity on that, and you're starting to see people for how they saw you and what you brought to the table. Or ask yourself this: for what you bring to the table, if you did not bring that to the table, whatever that resource may be, would that person have the same energy for you? Whatever it may it be physical, emotional, social, whatever it is, if you did not willingly offer that, would they still have your loyalty? Would they genuinely have your best interest? You know, some people won't even answer that. They'll turn, you know, just like right now. You know, I'm talking to your heart because you know you got people that have been perched up in your life that really have been in your way. And there have been countless examples of when you had clarity, you know, I need to do this. And they talked you off of it. Why? Because secretly they are envious of you and they don't want you to grow. And as long as you stay the course or stay in that position, they thrive in that. That's one more day taken from you. How much disappointment you got to go through to realize that that person that you think is your friend never was. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your work. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Listen, before I cut this off, all this stuff going on, all these people being outed, you reap what you sow. But guess what? We ain't seen the last of it. And guess what? There's a long list of women too. Because women can be predators as well. We just ain't heard it yet. And just as one person is knocked down, there are 5 people willing to do more for less for that. But if it ain't blessed, it can't last. You are not the amusement. You are the experience. And only a select few is going to know your story. Govern your environment to love yourself more. Yes, I understand. They got people coming from back. I said, you got people coming back from the grave that you ain't talked to in forever. What kept them from reaching out? Maybe they're just reaching out so they can dig in your pocket. Don't be fooled. Be blessed.